been reporting the U.S. is warning China of significant consequences if it provides any military or financial aid to Russia. U.S. sources say there are signs China has expressed openness to providing such aid. I want to bring in CNN political analyst Josh Rogin, columnist for The Washington Post. Nice to see you, Josh. You've been on top of this for some time now. You call Chinese President Xi Jinping Putin's co-conspirator. I mean, it sort of sets up the potential here for a new world order of East versus West.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's the way that Putin and Xi Jinping want it. And we know that because they issued a 5,000 plus word statement to that effect when they met at the Beijing Olympics just days before the invasion. And, I think that the Chinese leadership has been playing a double game this whole time. They've been telling the West that they're really conflicted about this whole Ukraine thing, and they're really unhappy about Vladimir Putin's invasion. At the same time, they've been already helping Vladimir Putin a lot. They haven't joined the sanctions. They've joined in the conspiracy theories, such as that U.S. biolabs in Ukraine are doing mischievous things. And now the Biden administration is finally pushing them to clarify that contradiction. And it's not clear which way they're going to go. But if they had to ask me, I think in the end, if they're pushed, they'll side with their friend Russia, because, as you said, they see a world order where the autocrats are in charge. And sure, they don't want to get sanctioned, but at the same time, that's not enough for them to break with their interests and join the West. That's just simply not going to happen.
Okay, so Josh, so then say more about that, because it seems that you think it's highly likely that China will actually go ahead and provide some actual military assistance or financial assistance or both.
Well, I think the financial assistance is already there just by the fact that they're keeping up the trade, that Chinese banks are finding ways to evade the restrictions, and that all Chinese companies, including energy companies, are waiting to see if they're really going to get sanctioned for continuing business with the Russians. And to the extent that they're not going to get sanctioned, they'll continue that business. And that is exactly what it sounds like. It's bailing out the Russian economy and undermining Western sanctions in the middle of the war. Now, when it comes to military assistance, that's another line. And that's a line that, as far as we know, they haven't crossed yet. And I think that's exactly why Jake Sullivan threw down the gauntlet to his Chinese counterpart, Yang Jiechi, in Rome yesterday. They don't want the Chinese to start arming the Russians, because that could really have tipped the war in Putin's favor once and for all. But on the financial side, I think they've been aiding the Russians. I think absent real secondary sanctions, which don't exist, by the way. Right now, there are no secondary sanctions. Unless we get some of those, China will continue to bail out the Russian economy and continue to essentially underwrite the war by making sure Putin has enough money to continue killing Ukrainians as long as he wants.
But in terms of paying its bills, Russia could default on its foreign debt as early as, I think, tomorrow. The ruble has been, rendered almost worthless here. What Chinese assistance would be enough to stop, Russia spiraling into a financial crisis?
Right. Well, they could do a number of things, Christine. First of all, that they could start buying up all of this Russian gas and oil that is no longer on its way to the United States or other Western markets that may soon cut it off. Second of all, they can use their financial system to evade SWIFT sanctions, and they can use their currency to process transactions for the Russian government. So, if the Russian government defaults on its debt and continues to become cut off from the Western financial system, the Chinese are very happy to step in and establish what they've always wanted, which is a system with Russia where they can avoid U.S. financial pressures. And they're doing that for a good reason, because if Xi Jinping decides to go ahead and attack Taiwan, then they're going to get sanctions too. And so they want to make sure that that this kindness will be repaid. And you can be sure that we're heading into a new world where the power of our financial sanctions is diminishing. But hopefully that hasn't come yet. At least that's what the Ukrainians are praying for.
Wow.
All right, Josh Rogin, thank you for your expertise and analysis on all of this. So helpful.
Anytime.